this show was put together. Don Carr, who's the head of industrial design, has always wanted to do a shoe show with alums. And so I thought what would be really interesting is if the box became almost like the pedestal for the shoes and put them in teams so that they could all benefit. So I put like a team of 2 or 3 students together with 2 or 3 designers. They then had to contact that designer and find out their process, where they started from, what was their journey in design, what is the innovation that they put in the shoes that they had designed. And then they were to take that information and design a box about the designer.
I think it's really cool that we get to make connections with alumni and network and kind of grow outside of Syracuse and connect with the Orange family that's literally everywhere. Especially in the design field, it's kind of hard to break through, so it's nice to be able to just reach out to alumni who work at amazing companies.
I think it's always great to try and translate my professional experience into useful insights for students, because they're still trying to figure out where they want to go, what they want to do, and being able to talk about the skills, the types of work environments you could find yourself in, and see whether or not that could be a fit for a student. I like being able to share that information because I know when I was about to graduate, trying to figure out what I was going to do, there's a lot of options. You don't know what the right path could be, and I think being able to share that, I always find it challenging but sort of invigorating, trying to share that knowledge from working professionally.
We have so many great alums that have gone on to do all kinds of things, as you saw, sandals, boots, sneakers. So it just kind of made sense. We knew our students would be really excited about it.
I got to work with Salehi Bembury and design a shoebox inspired by his work. He grew up in New York City, just like a regular kid, came here to Syracuse to study, and now is designing at the highest level of footwear and streetwear. He was the head of shoe design for Versace. He worked on a lot of Yeezy shoes. So it's just kind of cool to see that just in a couple years outside of college, we could be at a really high level of design.
I remember being a student and seeing other alumni or other students' projects and be like, wow, look what they have achieved, and to be to have a little place and to have a focus on my project, I felt really special.
We did background research on the designers before we actually met with them. So we did a little research before, and then we created our questions really purposefully and wanted to show that we were interested in themselves. And then we took that research, worked with them, practiced our interviewing skills, and then how to transform what we learned from talking with them into an actual design.
For students to have to take an interview, right? Have to take a spoken word and say, okay, now how do I translate this into something that's visual, that someone else coming in looking at this exhibition is going to be like, oh, I get it, this is about this. Often they're going to be given prompts that may be from somebody who owns a company who maybe doesn't know anything about design, and it's all verbal. So then their job is to say, okay, now how do I take this and turn it into something really unique or interesting, or that it's going to communicate a great idea or be effective.
Having the exposure to meet so many people from different places. Syracuse is such a diverse community, so being able to meet people from different cultures, and I think that is an important part of understanding how to connect as people, and then eventually working that into profession. So understanding how to connect with your teammates is really important. So I think that this is kind of a really wonderful place for that.
I feel being able to branch out and talk to people and not designing in a bubble is really important, to not be siloed in your work, but to kind of get out and explore and be inspired by other designers.
I was definitely surprised and impressed with both the diversity of products that were presented even within inside of a footwear show. The amount of alumni who are in the footwear industry, it's a small world, and you sort of feel like you know almost everybody, but I was amazed how many Syracuse alumni are in the footwear industry. And I think it's an awesome show, and the students having that packaging design project, I think really elevated each unique individual designer's contribution and sort of the overall effect inside of the gallery that brought it all together. I thought it was awesome.